Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson along with Coach Smook. Run the domes up again as Keon Sabb is in with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Smook, you had this for a long time. And by the way, if you don't know, Coach Smook is our director of player personnel. He's had this for a long time. Coach, first of all, Keon Sabb to Alabama. What does it mean? Let's talk about it. Let's break it down.
So right now, Keon Sabb finally making it official, coming to the University of Alabama after spending a year at the University of Michigan. Didn't have a significant amount of snaps, but you look at him on film from high school to his time at Michigan, the plays that he was on the field, still productive with his snaps. This is a huge get. Rangy guy, 4'4" guy, already has the year of experience playing under a very experienced coordinator, a very strong defensive play caller, Zach Mentor, coming from a very complex system over at Michigan, very effective system. So getting this guy was huge, bringing in some leadership, some experience, some actual skill, adding more depth to that secondary, a place where we all knew that if we got at least one or two guys, quality guys out of the portal, Alabama's secondary would start to shape up a little bit different. And this is the first step to maybe one or two more steps that I think we need to pull in order to continue to solidify. But Keon Sabb is definitely a huge get, man.
One of the things that I was thinking about when you look to a player like Keon Sabb, you see him at the free safety position. And I know he didn't get a lot of playing time last year, but the one thing that does stand out to me is he did get significant playing time in the national title game. That's a game where he played in 65 snaps, and he had a really good coverage grade of 83.5 in that particular game. Smook, when you look to him in this 4-2-5 defense, and I get it, there's going to be position battles all over the place. We've talked about this before. You like him at the free safety spot. I mean, let's talk kind of about the 4-2-5 and how you see him fitting in.
I love him at the free safety spot. This is, to me, this is more of the guy that you want in front of Peyton Woodyard. You want a guy like him in front of Peyton Woodyard. Same style of play. They have similar build. They both, technique wise, they're both very sound. He gives you the hype that I have about Peyton Woodyard. I get the same feels with him, and already seeing him do it at the college level gives you that type of reassurance. So when we talk about the dime look in this 4-2-5, bringing on the extra safety, now there's no question about having over-the-top too high coverage with safeties who are ranging and know how to play the ball, because you have a young guy, Peyton Woodard, who can come out and be your relief safety that comes on your second free safety in that dime look, and then you have him out there kind of manning the primary safety position. It put guys like Tony Mitchell, Malachi Moore, Devontae Smith truly in the box at the Rover and the Husky position. So this just opens everything up. Tony Mitchell is going to be able to play in multiple spots. Devontae Smith, those guys, I can't wait. So like yesterday or the other day when we were talking about this, as you can see on the graphic here, I put Keon Sabb at the top, and I would love to see a guy like Peyton Woodard get behind this guy. They play similar. Mm-hmm. He comes from a high school program. People talking about what he did at Michigan, but go look at his film when he played at IMG. Mm-hmm. This kid goes all the way from New Jersey. Mm-hmm. He's from New Jersey, gets recruited to IMG, goes down to IMG and plays with the likes of Ellis Robinson and all those other highly touted DBs, and he is the leader in that group during his time there. So I'm excited to see what he does and how it translates. Being under a new staff at Alabama, this scheme fits his playing style perfectly, Kyle.
Coach, I think when you look to kind of the backstory of Keon Sabb, it's interesting because he was in the class of 2022. He was a top 100 prospect. And when you kind of look to the recruiting ties, Courtney Morgan, I think this is the first big home run for him, having ties to Michigan. Kind of talk about the recruiting process. I mean, do you think it was the fact that Courtney Morgan had something to do with this, kind of in the back end in terms of recruiting, understanding the talent that is out there? Also, Alabama, after his younger brothers. I mean, can you talk about kind of the recruitment?
So I've had the privilege to get in touch with some of their high school coaches, both the Sabb brothers. They played at the same high school, and these coaches, they were speaking highly of Alabama before all the news about him coming to Alabama was even buzzing. So, and these are coaches that are, still in contact with these players. You got so many connections with Sabb to Alabama, current players at Alabama, Jahad Campbell, Booker, all of them have that IMG brotherhood connection. Mm-hmm. I mean, just a deep rooted connection. But then, like you said, Courtney Morgan, just leaving that staff not too long ago, was a big part of getting him to Michigan before he was at Washington as their general manager, right? Mm-hmm. He gets that guy to Michigan. He's there, and he gets on campus. He sticks with it. Mentor was a perfect connection. I think more so than Morgan being there. I think Saab likes the fact that Kane Womack is a young defensive coordinator that's going to let him play really robber safety a lot in this defensive scheme. And that's what's going to highlight his ability. He's a rangy safety. He'll come up and play in the box. He'll come up and run support, but he's a rangy safety. His skill set and his ability say, hey, I can play the middle of I can play center field. As a sub 4-4 guy, I can play the middle of the field in this type of defense. And no matter who you put on my boundaries, I got they back. That's the type of safety we got.
I think when you look to the 4-2-5 coach, and I know Alabama fans wanted Jabbar Muhammad. That didn't work out. But I think kind of you look to the free safety spot is you needed somebody to really step in here, and I still think that Alabama maybe add someone else to the secondary in the next transfer portal window or whatever. But I like the setup right here. I mean, you've talked about Damani Jackson, you've talked about Tony Mitchell, Devontae Smith, Zay Mincy, Jalen Mbakwe. Now you have Keon Sabb. There's a lot of guys within this room, and you got to look at the fact that Maurice Lindquist, Colin Hitchler, Kane Womack, when they're swarm defense, you were talking about this earlier on kind of a reality or reach. You feel that in this situation on the defensive side that the playmakers are going to have many more turnovers this coming season. Speak on that, Coach.
So, and that's what the main thing was about getting Keon Sabb, Kyle. It wasn't necessarily about how great of a player he was. He just gives you a range of things to do with the personnel that you were very confident about. The only thing is you just weren't sure about the experience on the boundary. So now with bringing in a guy like Sabb, who can train up a guy like Peyton Woodard at that free safety position, you solidify your Husky, your Rover, guys who are veterans, guys who know college ball, know the college schemes, have seen a few things. You're putting them next to a possibility of maybe 2 freshmen starting cornerbacks, or now you really give an opportunity for Jaleel Hurley and Damani Jackson, your experienced corners, to get out there and compete on a level of learning next to guys that know what's going on the field, right? And now you get your young guys time to develop. One thing about this defense with Kane Womack, and this is going to be my last statement, is they are going to rotate at every level. Kane Womack is going to have situational situations for certain personnels. Certain corners are going to be great dime corners, great dime scheme cover, whatever dime requires. You're going to have maybe 1 or 2 young guys out there that understand that. It puts them in a natural ability, a natural position to play DB from what they're used to doing in high school. Now, you get in the base set, that's where we're going to need guys like Damani Jackson who have experience, need him to catch up and get his technique right, get the small things right, because you're safe over top. Play sound underneath. A guy like Sabb is going to keep you safe over top. Won't be a lot of looking for your helps this year with a guy like Keon Sabb over top.
Yes, and he is committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. It's all over. And I know if you're just joining us, Keon Saab is committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Big pickup for the secondary and Coach Kalen DeBoer. And, thank you so much for the super chat. We will get to these in just a minute on the super chat, but we really appreciate you taking care of us right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Coach, before I bounce out, let's talk about the fact that Coach Kalen DeBoer, what he's been able to do so far in the transfer portal. You see so far recruiting Noah Carter in from 2024, Ryan Williams, Quentin Reese. Those are the guys that he added to the back end. Now you look to the transfer portals. He's going after immediate fixes, right? Parker Brailsford, Jeremy Bernard, and then you add on Keon Sabb right here. I think this is a really big addition to this overall roster. I mean, talk about the way that he's utilized the transfer portal so far.
So, I mean, he's only entertaining what we need. Like you just said, Kyle, I'm not one of those coaches, me personally. This is Coach Smoot. Coach Smoot, in this day and age, I'm not going after every big name that entered the portal just because it's a big name. Yep. And I felt like last year, that's what happened. Previous years with Henry Tortor, I feel like if we would have done a schematic type of approach to things like Kalen DeBoer has done, then we would have had a lot more success in the transfer portal. Kyrie Jackson, Jalen Key didn't perform up to par. Malik Benson, Tyler Harrell, was it Tyler Harrell came from Louisville? Yep. A lot of these names, I'm not throwing shade at them. I'm just saying they didn't fit the schematics of what they thought they were coming into. And you look at what Coach DeBoer has been able to do in this staff, it's like you go and get a safety to say, what I think personally is Malachi Moore's most natural position is at that star. So in his defense, that's Husky or Rover. How do you solidify him being able to go to that spot? You go and get a free safety who has experience being a Rover, robber, cloud type safety, playing over top, playing center field, you go and do that, and now you solidify your box, the middle of the defense. Where did we get ate up a lot last year on our defense?
Yep.
In the middle of the field, whether it was run or passing, coming across the middle of the field. So you get guys like Smitty, Mitchell, more inside of there with a guy like Sabb over top who doesn't mind playing the ball when it's in the air. We will see a lot of that, a lot of gambling from this guy, and I think that's going to work out great for him. And the portal right now has definitely been blessing to us. Parker Brailsford was the key. Losing Seth McLaughlin was awesome. Yep. Getting Parker Brailsford was like a blessing. Yep. And then Jeremy Bernard, same thing. Another guy that with the ball in his hands can be electric, do a lot of things for you. So I'm excited about what the board and the staff is doing with the portal.
Absolutely. He's Coach Smook. My name is Kyle Henderson, both of Bama football on YouTube. Keon Saab in with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Run the thumbs up on all these videos. We appreciate you guys here. And you know what they say, savages want to play with savages.